Hi guys, Zor here from ZorGameGeek.com, here today to talk to you about a very important topic, consent in gaming. Now, I play role-playing games to escape, to have this fantasy world, to be this version of myself that I am maybe not in real life. I also play role-playing games to have experiences, to have some tension, to have this sense of dread and fear in a safe space where I know that it's okay. However, not all of your players at your table may have that same experience, that expectation for different elements of a role-playing game, different scenes, different themes. And this is especially true in horror role-playing games, which is something we cover here a lot at ZorGameGeek.com and on this channel. With horror, there is this, you're supposed to, in a good game, personalize that to the players. Make them feel that tension. That's what's the fun of horror. But not everyone finds that fun. You might say, well, then they shouldn't play horror role-playing games. That's a little unfair, because if they have so many triggers where just everything in that theme is going to trigger them, then you're right, they should probably not have played. But they probably already know that, and they're already not going to sign up and agree to play a horror-themed role-playing game. However, some of your players may have had specific experiences in their past lives where, as a child or as an adult, something happened to them that was deeply disturbing and traumatizing. And they find no fun, zero fun in re-experiencing that. For myself, I find zero fun, not because of any particular prior trauma, at least not I'm going to share. This, again, is not therapy that we're having here, but the awkward comedy of The Office. I don't enjoy that. I don't enjoy that in my own life. I don't enjoy watching that vicariously on the TV, and it makes me feel uncomfortable and change the channel. So how do you get consent at your game table for your themes and scenes and things like that, and things that you're going to be doing? The first most important step is, before you play your first session, you should reach out and email your players separately, not a group chat, separate emails to each player, and say, are there any themes or scenes or types of things that you do not want me to portray in this game? Or, in the alternative, you could say, I am planning in this game to maybe go this way or that way, or have these different elements and themes. Is that okay? Do you have a problem with any of that? And then collect and collate that list from each player that says, I'm not okay with satanic cults. Maybe they grew up in a Christian household, and, well, one might say those types may not play role-playing games, but let's put that aside. They grew up in a Christian household, and they're deeply uncomfortable with any portrayals of pentagrams, of satanic cults, Baphomet statues, those sort of things, demons and devils. They just don't want to have it. So you're going to have to find some other way of providing existential terror to them in your horror game. And then, once you compile all of those things, and it's important, don't challenge them. You are, again, not their therapist. Don't ask them why you have a problem with this. Take it and accept it for what it is. You compile your list, and at the first session of the game, where maybe it's a session 0, maybe it's your first session, and you have a handout to your players kind of giving them the overview of what the game is about and different themes, you have in there themes that you're planning on exploring as the game master, and then themes that are not going to be done. And you're listing what people listed. Do not identify which player. And if one of the other players at the table says, well, who said the what's, shut them down. Step out with them, have a private conversation. It's not okay. Do not make players uncomfortable at the table without their consent. The other thing that's important for your game is you may come across scenes that you didn't address in advance, that aren't on the list but weren't addressed, and they make a player uncomfortable. Or maybe the player not realizing that this makes them uncomfortable. When they get into that scene, they feel that sense of uncomfortableness trigger an anxiety. What you need to have at your table is an X card. You may need to have multiple ones of these at your table, where it's within reach of each of the players. And so when that scene comes up where they're uncomfortable, all they need to do is reach over, grab it, and flash it. You as the game master need to pause, stop, and find a different path forward. You may even need to take a little bit of a break. Take that player aside and have a private conversation with them to kind of find out if you're not sure why. Again, without judgment, condemnation, or pushback, to say, just tell me a little bit more, what's going on here, what, is it this or is it that? And if it's both, you find a different way. If it's this and not that, you go that way and you listen to it. Or if they're not comfortable holding up the X card, then all you need to do is have them just reach out and tap it on the table. Just tap it. And then you go your other way. Now, by the way, this X card can be played or used if you as the game master are doing something that makes them uncomfortable, or another player at the table is making them uncomfortable. It's that latter scenario that's going to be difficult for you to manage as a game master. Because if that player doesn't respect the X card and wants to push and pressure that player Y, once again, you take a break. You take the player who's pushing, not the player who tapped. And you go have a private conversation to say, hey man, I know this is your fun. I don't get to tell you what you have fun at, but this table needs to have fun. And there are other ways you can have fun without violating the consent of the other players at the table. This group is more important than any one player. And if that player doesn't get it, can't agree to those rules, that contract, that this group, this table is more important than any one individual, you shouldn't be gaming with them. Especially with horror-themed games, where there are going to be scenes of ritual sacrifice, potentially, of assaults, sexualization, elements like that. Keep it cool, keep it non-judgmental, and accept people for where they're at. And if they're not okay with it, stop, pivot, move on. And police your table. Make everyone comfortable. Don't let that one player ruin it for everyone else. And you, as the game master, also don't be that player. Don't be that one person. All right, there you have it. Consent in gaming, very important topic. Should have done this video earlier. Here we are. If you want to learn more about role-playing games, go to ZordGameGeek.com. My latest article is how to create a mystery, how to create a scenario in the Gumshoe role-playing game. You can find that at ZordGameGeek.com/mystery. Again, that is ZordGameGeek.com/mystery. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe. Keep gaming.